here today at Bodega and Vino. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This is a crown jewel of Baltimore. If you haven't been here, please make your way. Let's show up and see what's inside. Welcome back to another episode of the Limbo Latino podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Colon, aka the Limbo Latino, and I am out and about. We're going to give you more information of where to come, but I have some special guests here today, and I'm so excited to give them their flowers. These are the proprietors and owners of a special place I have just found, and I've been coming here a few times. And I can't stop telling people about it. So hopefully you will make your way if you're in the DMV area, Baltimore, or even out of town. If you want to come for Nueva York and you want to hang out and chill. So just wanted to introduce the Bodega and Vino crew here. And we have Rob and Angela. So welcome to the show.
Hi.
Welcome to the Limbo Latino podcast show.
Thank you.
Just wanted to really highlight you all. This podcast was really developed during the pandemic, and I was seeing all types of stuff happening about our folks and our people and the diaspora at large. So I just wanted to make sure that we were showing the positive stuff and also the things that make us inspired and also push us to do better and more, and also to highlight who we are already. So for us, I'd like to get your origin story. Introduce yourselves to the familia. We are in the Limbo Latino Sala and the Bodega Vino Sala as well. So tell people about who you are, what's your origin story, where's your upbringing, and so on and so forth.
So I'm Angela Wainwright, formerly known as Fernandez. That's my Latino roots. I'm from the Bronx, born and raised in the Bronx. My parents are from Puerto Rico, as my grandparents were. So yeah, I'm a New Yorican, and so growing up, I grew up with, my cousins in the building, and we were on the floor. My grandparents were on the floor. My titi were on the floor, and we just had a really good time. That's where I learned all about being Puerto Rican, cooking, and our foods, our culture. It was just I love New York. It was just wonderful living there. I miss it sometimes. I miss the old days of New York, right? It's so different now, because when I go back to the block where I'm from, it's just different.
For us, it's funny because, again, we had a little bit different upbringings. Angela being from New York, from the Bronx, growing up, with tons of family, all in the same building or all on the same block, talking about going around the block to go see, this cousin or that cousin.
So talk about your union and what makes it beautiful.
What makes our union beautiful? I think just we like a lot of the same things. We have like a lot of the same goals, if not, when you're with somebody for 23 years and you raise 5 children, I think everything gets intertwined, right? So, and I think that's part of our...
I think for a lot of people, your personalities, obviously, you see a lot of individuals where they don't necessarily have the same personality, and so it brings people together because, again, she's more outgoing and, again, the face of the bodega, hi, welcome in, da-da-da-da. I'm in the back. Like, what do they want to eat? Let me know what they want to eat. Not saying I'm not friendly or anything, but, again, when you talk about, admiring something of your partner and stuff like that, it's like, well, yeah, part of opening up this bodega, even the concept of it was because, again, we used to have parties at our house, and friends from work or wherever, but, come to our house and, she would just be, so Puerto Rican. We call that, I say Puerto
Yeah.
Rican. Yeah, 'cause I'm like, you talk so loud. She says, I'm not talking loud, I'm just talking Puerto Rican. And so we would be at the house, and she would be the hostess with the mostest, interacting with people. Game time. And we're playing spoons or something, and she's.
And I think that's part of my Puerto Rican culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just always being busy. We always have parties or going to church on Sundays, making a pernil and making food, and we know, after Mass, we're going home to eat, and it would be all of us, or it was always family. And I think when we wanted this place, that's what I was thinking. Like, I want everybody's my family, because I think as Puerto Ricans, once you know somebody and you like them, you don't have to love them, but just like them at first, then all of a sudden they become your family. Like, hi, like you just love them. They just become part of that extended
People come
family.
in and they leave. We had, I don't know, about 6 Latinas here yesterday, right? And I guess they closed up kind of when I was getting here, but she's like, they've been here for 2 hours, and they were dancing, and I turned some music on for them, and then I'm looking at them leaving, and they're all she's all
They
hugging
came
with them.
back here to give me a hug.
Yeah.
To say thank
And
you.
I'm like, this isn't the first time, I'm like, she hugging everybody. Like, what in the world? Like, there's a sign on the door say, come in and get a hug,
Well, no, I think that's part of, and they were Latinas, and I was like, everything they were doing, even though they weren't Puerto Rican, I got it. It was like they had this cute song because it was one of the girls' birthdays, and I just got it. I put the music really loud, and then they got louder, and that's just part of my Puerto Rican culture, just being out there loud and making everybody feel welcome. I never met them before, but they came back here to give me a hug because I made them feel at home, because I believe that as a Puerto Rican, how we are, we make everybody feel this is your home. Like, when people come in and sit down, they're like, I feel like I'm in someone's living room. I'm like, yeah, you're in my living room. That's how I feel. And I think that's how I grew up, just very welcoming and very loving to everybody. It doesn't matter. I didn't know that going to ethnicity or color, I didn't know I was Puerto Rican until I got to California, and they're like, what are you? I'm like, I've never been asked that till I moved to California. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, what's your culture? I'm like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican. Oh, they're like, oh, you're just a black girl that knows how to speak Spanish. And I was like, I'm Puerto Rican. I never associated with anything, just being Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So when I ventured out after I moved out of New York, and we went to Tucson, Arizona, and then went to LA where I met my husband, it was such a culture shock for me, because I've never been asked that.
Wow.
I just was Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans are everything.
Yeah.
And that's how I grew up in New York. So it was just a culture shock for me when people ask me, what are you? So.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to your identity, right?
Yeah.
What are you? And I think when you think about what you are, you're an amalgamation, you're a fusion of all different cultures.
Yes.
Right? So when you enter spaces, you are sometimes the other, but you're also the inner.
Yes.
Right? And that's a hard place to be in sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you have this amazing establishment. You planted roots in Baltimore, which has a very Central American, South American infusion. And I know there's some Caribbean folks propping themselves up and being a part of the community now. But as Puerto Ricans, we don't really see a lot of folks from the Caribbean and so on and so forth really planting roots, especially in the Locust Point area, which is a nice, amazing area, right? But the beauty of it is that now you're pulling in everybody coming into the neighborhood. So tell me more about the concept of Bodega and Vino, why you thought it would be a great concept for this particular area and in Baltimore specifically, and why Maryland or Maryland?
We wanted to move back to New York, but we quickly found out that was just not affordable for us. So this was a happy medium. I could still go to New York, see my mom and my cousins and my titi and my family, but this was city enough for us. And we had some kind of roots here too. And we did have, his
so.
family lived here. His dad lived here, and brothers he grew up with. So it was just a good place to be. as far as Bodega and Vino, I don't know, how did we end up?
Well, again, I think the concept of Bodega and Vino, again, came up from the living room parties at the house and saying, well, what can we do? Because, again, I think part of it was, with the tech industry and stuff like that, I think I had just got laid off, and I'm like, man, we got to figure out some things to do. Like we're always working for somebody else. We got to figure out what we can do, with our time that is enjoyable, and we can share stuff that is, we think, of value. And Bodega and Vino, again, looking at her and her personality is how I kind of shaped the idea of the Bodega, because I'm like, if she's the front person for it, everybody's gonna come in and get a smile.
That's right.
And I guess a hug.
Yeah.
Right?
I am a hugger. But when he got laid off, he started watching podcasts, and all of a sudden, he wanted to open something up. That's the real story.
Okay.
And so he started looking for properties that we can do something with.
Yeah.
And so we stumbled upon another one, but this one was more in our realm, because there's a lot of people that walk by that can come in here to get coffee to go to the water taxi.
Yeah.
So it was like, for the Bodega side, I was like, oh, that's good. People can come get coffee, pastry, bacon, egg, and cheese. And so that's why we really liked the Locust Point, because where we were situated.
Yeah.
So
I think sometimes things just, they happen to you / with you, I guess, because again, like the first place we were looking at was Remington. And, anybody who knows Baltimore has neighborhoods, and it's different pockets.
That's right.
Different folks, whatever. But, it's different vibes in those different areas, So, when we were looking at the spot in Remington, would that be the same vibe as, what we have here? Maybe so, as far as what we put into it.
Yeah.
How about outside of it? No, it's probably going to be different.
Yeah.
And so when we got the opportunity to come down here at Locust Point and look at this place, I don't know if it was more so us looking at, Locust Point as demographics and things like that and saying, well, what kind of people live in Locust Point, before we said, well, how does this space fit what we want to do? And we said, well, can we do it? Is it, like, again, we talked about how it was so dark and dreary when we first looked in here. And we said, well, what can we do to brighten it up? What can we do to make it a little bit more, comfortable and appealing to people? And then once we had those ideas of what the concept would be, then it was more like, okay, for financial reasons, and putting that business plan together, okay, now what are the demographics? What is the environment with parking and things like that? So, I think, did we necessarily intend to, bring a Puerto Rican or a Latin vibe to Locust Point? Maybe not intentionally, because of, oh, well, we know that there's a certain amount of people here or, this age range. It was kind of like, can we fit in here? And then once we fit in here, to me, I'm like, she'll make the people, love her.
But my Puerto Rican roots was going to come out regardless, right? Because that's who I am.
Well, that's what we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody here that comes in becomes family, because that's the Puerto Rican way.
Yes.
So I totally understand.
Yeah.
So when I first came in here, I already knew, I felt at home. So talk about the ambiance of this place. What do you provide? What's on the menu? How you interact with other businesses? And obviously you're at Locust Point, but like, when you look at the neighborhood, you got a monopoly, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what you want in a successful business. So talk about the ambiance in here, what you were trying to create, especially with the nights that you have, these theme nights that you have, but also the wine. Obviously, the wine is something that you curated and it's a specialty, but like, I can tell that there's an importance behind what you're doing, whether it's intentional or not. But talk a little bit about like what you all offer.
Oh, it's definitely intentional, because being Puerto Rican, we love Spain. So when we found this place, it did not look like this. My husband, his little hamster wheel was going. He's like, oh, you know what I can do? I can enclose it. I'm like, no, can we not do that? Can we just work what we got? Because I'm thinking like dollars and cents. That's going to be more money. But then I was like, just do what you want to do, because he's very creative. All the artwork on the walls belong to him. So, it's very intentional. The art, the posters on the wall, those are from my family. My cousin Teresa, she's part of a committee called Comete Noviembre in New York, and it's about keeping the Puerto Rican culture alive and thriving. They go to Puerto Rico once a year. They get a big trip, go to Puerto Rico. They do humanitarian work. So I wanted to make sure I displayed that because that's part of my family. I have a little box over there with little trinkets of things that my mom gave me throughout the years when she was alive. And I just put them away, and it has like piragua and what's the little thing that you scrape like this? I don't know what it's called.
The tumbero?
Yeah, I have one of those, and I just have a cute little display of Puerto Rican trinkets over there that my mom had given me throughout the years. And then plants, you know, during the COVID, who didn't love plants, right? It was like dogs and plants. And so we got so into plants, and we just brought that into the store. And we just wanted to make it an extension of our living room. If you go to our house, we have so many. This looks like our house. It's like very welcoming. So,
and real quick, I did see something. I don't know if it was the buddies at Baltimore Magazine or whatever. They talk about a resurgence in black art here in Baltimore. And so we have the El Yunque art wall down there.
Yes.
And that is, you know, again, from my black side here.
Yes.
You know, we got the Muhammad Ali's over there. We have, you know, some of the, what else I have over there?
what's his name? I can never remember his name.
Dennis Rodman.
The other one.
Satchel Paige.
Yeah,
I love my Satchel
Paige.
Paige.
Yeah.
So we have some black art over there too.
Yeah.
So
and we have some Puerto Rican art right here. So everything we did was intentional. We do want to move to Spain at some point during our lifetimes. We call this our empty nest phase because our kids are grown. And so we wanted to just do something to welcome everybody into the neighborhood. I like to have events because I like to connect with everybody. And it's weird because everybody in the neighborhood, when we first opened, they're like, oh yeah, everybody's going to support you. They're going to come in. But the reality is my daughter is the social media manager. We're getting people from everywhere. I mean, Owens Mills, Ellicott City, Annapolis.
Yeah,
I mean,
came from Annapolis, Arundel Mills.
Yeah, Arundel Mills. They're coming from everywhere, and I'm like,
and we have our locals too from the neighborhood.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Or a girl coming in from Virginia.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I have a girl that came from an hour. She came from Sterling, Virginia.
Get out of here.
She gave me all of those Puerto Rican candles. They're so cute. I gotta show. Can I?
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Say pause now.
Oh my.
Coquito scent. And then this one, she gave me Flor de Isla because she refused to call it what it is. You know why?
Yeah.
And then this one, the Borinquen, and they all smell like the island. And then she has a little QR code. She has a little song attached to each candle and a history about that. I mean,
You want to give her a shout out?
right here.
Okay.
We'll put the QR code in.
Yeah, exactly. We'll put it in the description, y'all.
Yeah. I mean, just like, she was like, I'm like, do you want to sell them? She's like, no, I want to keep it for us for right now.
Adorable.
She wants to keep it in the Puerto Rican family. It's like, we're family. We're all just,
And I
love that part of the store.
Yeah, so I think that's part of it, like creating the ambiance where, you know, people enjoy, you know, just the atmosphere of being in here, you know. When we talk about like the culture and stuff, and like she said, you know, like eventually, you know, we have goals, aspirations of moving to Spain and stuff like that. She didn't say Puerto Rico, no offense, Puerto Rico, but you know, but again, some of the things that we do, you know, it's like, again, like the menu. We talk about the menu is some Puerto Rican, you know, Puerto Rican food, and then. Again, y'all gotta remember I'm Black and Italian, so I didn't grow up making this stuff, but I'm trying to do my best.
He's the cook, y'all, and he does good. He does good.
It's
right?
pretty good.
It's good.
It's pretty good.
So I think we kind of, you know, morph it sometimes, you know, make it a hybrid of this or that, you know. And I know we've had some friends, you know, who say, hey, give them authentic Puerto Rican food, you know, give it, make them like the Puerto Rican food. And it's like, you know, like that might be your thing, like, got it. You know, but I have like a grilled cheese on there, Parmesan crusted grilled cheese, because, you know, some people just want that comfort food sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm just trying to cater to everybody, but it's kind of like, you know, do some variety of different things. We got the Spanish flatbreads on there.
But I think 90% of our menu is Puerto Rican,
so,
right?
Yeah, so then
it's only a few things.
We talked about the sweet plantains, the tostones, you know, the rellenos,
yeah.
you know, which I couldn't even say in
Empanadas.
the beginning.
The empanadas, which I also get from Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, so...
Until we run out, we got to make them ourselves.
Yeah. We try to get all the cultures in here, right? Because I want to pull in everybody. We want kids. We want Spanish, Greek, Mexican, everybody. Because that's what Puerto Ricans are, right? We just want everybody we just want to love on everybody here.
Well, mission accomplished. I think the neighborhood, as we've been filming this, and we've been seeing folks all morning kind of coming in, and they've been as gracious as possible, and they're excited for this business to be here in their neighborhood. So you've created not only an authentic, amazing fusion place for everybody, but I've heard you all say this before, it's a community space.
Yes.
So you hold events as well too, right?
Oh, yeah,
so talk
we
about
do.
the events part and like when
the events, we have bingo every night. I mean, every Thursday night. Not every night. Not every night. Every Thursday we have bingo just because, you know, we like people to come out and do things during the week. And then we have like charcuterie, sipping charcuterie. You're going to learn how to do some charcuterie.
Charcuterie board?
Some charcuterie.
Shakoots.
Yeah.
And then we're doing a sip and script just to get everybody out. Because, you know, you don't know what people like.
Yeah.
People can come from, they already come from all over. But, you know, if you have different things, people come out for different events. And I think they love the sip and paint. We've had sip and paint twice. They love that.
The plant arrangements.
Arranging the plants, like not plants, flowers, bouquets. People love all kinds of different things. So I want to try to incorporate everything for April. Sip and box.
What's that?
Yeah.
Boxing.
What?
And after, there was so many people. I think there was 10 or 12 people.
Come in, do like a boxing workout, you know, get some of the
Wow.
basics and stuff, and then afterwards, you know, have a
It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Pilates and yoga.
Yes.
Normally on Saturday morning, like once or twice a month, you know,
We
get
have the
yoga
yoga.
in here. So we'll move the furniture around,
what's up.
gives people
Yes.
space, you know, and it's kind of like just come in, have a nice peaceful. We'll have the yoga
Studio.
No,
music
on
or,
the
okay.
on the
like
TV,
the
the
meditation
background,
or whatever going on, and so they're able to do the instruction, and then afterwards you can come and get your coffee, or you earned it, so get you a
That's right.
pastry as well.
Yeah.
So,
You got your sweat on.
And we're on Eventbrite, so if anybody wants to find that, that's on Eventbrite, or follow us, because you don't know if you don't follow us, and then on IG, and then
What's your IG, by the way?
it's Bodega and Vino.
Bodega Vino.
Bodega and Vino. That's
it.
it. Bodega and Vino. Fine. So,
You also sell books here too, right?
oh
You
yes, we have a book. Yes,
yeah.
we sell books.
Yeah, we got to restock a little bit, but we have some Puerto Rican books up there too, some cultural
still
books
got
in there.
Yeah.
You know, some.
Rob
things.
was like, "What don't they have in the area? Which they don't have a bookstore." So he put some books. He purchased some books, and we got that little book corner there.
Yeah.
And what else do we have?
You have pastries.
We have pastries. We have breakfast sandwiches. We have café con leche
Yeah.
or a latte. We have. Oh, guess what I found?
What?
Medalla.
Oh.
Nobody has medalla around here. We do.
You got to get it here, y'all.
Yes,
Yeah.
got to get it here. So yeah, we
And
have
then-
bread.
And the food menu is growing, right? We try to experiment a little bit, so we had the mofongo that we've started doing. So
Yes.
either a shrimp
Y'all,
mofongo.
I'm trying to lose weight, not gain weight.
So
God.
either a shrimp mofongo or a chicken,
Chicken mofongo, yes, really good.
And then we did again the Spanish side. We did a paella last week.
Oh yeah, we
So we'll
did.
probably try to do that as well, and just keep some things going.
I
So
told him to add another flatbread because we have 3, and it's been for a minute now. We need to add one more. So he might add my favorite barbecue chicken.
Ooh.
barbecue pollo, por favor.
Oh, that's what he wants to call it, barbecue pollo.
Yo, he just corrected you.
He did.
Culturally corrected. I love it.
See, 23 years together, he just automatically becomes Puerto Rican after a
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
amount of years.
yeah. All right, I gotta ask you this. I know this is way past the conversation day, but what do you think about Bad Bunny Benito at the Super Bowl.
Oh, I loved Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. It was everything I grew up with. I didn't grow up in Puerto Rico, but I would go every summer and hang out with my cousins. First, I'd go with my dad and my stepmom, and then my stepmom was from Fajardo. So we would get sugar cane and peel it and suck on it and the canepas. And so everything he did took me back to my childhood.
That was our candy.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was so
Natural.
cool. I mean, everything was just, it took me back.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was inspiring, and I'm glad that he, like my cousin Teresa, is trying to keep that Puerto Rican culture alive, because it could, I watched a TikTok the other day, and the lady was like talking about how the generations are not, Puerto Rican culture generation are not speaking Spanish, and we're gonna lose it, right? Because if you don't teach it to your children, then they lose it, and so you end up losing it. And so I'm so glad that Bad Bunny is reminding us all that we cannot lose such a beautiful thing.
And also that our money is powerful, a conversation piece.
Yes.
He is not only a global sensation, but he revitalized Puerto Rico's economy.
He did.
Single-handedly for a month. So.
Yes, he did.
So what you think, brother? I know you watched it. You were watching football. I don't know if you watched a lot of the game because it was kind of.
The game was a little suspect, but I thought it was a good performance. I'm glad that he was selected. I'm glad that the NFL didn't back down. It saddens me to have it be a conversation piece of so many people in the political spectrum, or not even in the political spectrum, but just the I somewhat feel of the
that language was a barrier.
The language was a barrier. The language was an issue. I don't know what the total amount. I heard it was like 43 million people in the U.S. speak Spanish or something like that. You know, and it's like everybody's thinking is, I don't speak it, so that's we shouldn't show. And it's like,
or that's un-American.
Or it's un-American,
what? How can it be un-American when I'm American?
Yeah, and I think that when people look or nitpick at some of that aspect of it, where they're focused on the things that don't appeal to them, because again, there's been plenty of Super Bowls, where I didn't have any interest in the halftime show.
So true.
I wasn't going to go ahead and say, can I create a whole new show, for me to watch, a new concert for me to watch to avoid this?
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, come on, now you're being petty,
yeah.
At the fact. And, the show itself, Bad Bunny, helping Puerto Rico, like there has to be some type of open your eyes moment from people, because when you look at Puerto Rico, and infrastructure, they had the poles that he was climbing up on. It was for a reason. It wasn't just to get a higher view of what was going on at the Super Bowl, right? Those were, supposed to be representative of the power system and stuff. And it's sad when we had a couple who came from Puerto Rico like 2 or 3 months, afterward. Before or whatever. I think it was, and they were saying, wow, with all this snow, we thought that the power was going to go out, because in Puerto Rico, we get.
She said when it rains,
we get a strong wind and the power goes out.
Yeah.
And it's like we don't even think about that. Like people are so concerned about somebody speaking Spanish versus what can I help, my fellow Americans, down there in Puerto Rico. Like if it hit Houston, Texas, or Louisiana or something like that, and I know I get it, the population there, large minority populations, but there's a large, primary, white population as well. So it's like, oh, the concern, let's go ahead and send out FEMA, let's do this, let's do that. But for Puerto Rico, it's like, man, their electricity can go out every week and nobody here cares. Yeah. So I feel like, Bad Bunny is, somebody who's from there and trying to, highlight, his proud, stature of saying, hey, I'm from here, we got to do something or we got to give back. I like it,
That's awesome.
So
I was telling Rob, my favorite part about the Bad Bunny was when he came through the sugarcane field, through the field, and had all the flags. And I was telling Rob that I wanted to make like a wall of people just come in and put their flag on the wall. I think that would be so internationally powerful, right? To have it doesn't matter if you're Hispanic or not.
Right.
Everybody's flag, because that is America.
Yeah.
We are America. Just because we speak Spanish doesn't mean we're un-American. We are America. So for them to put their flags on the wall to show the unity of us and everybody, just everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from.
And then I was like, no, we're not doing all
Yeah,
that.
That's a lot of flags. I was like, I'm looking at Rob, I'm like,
he's like, no, he's like, so are they going to be everybody, or is it going to just be Latinos? Or I was like, everybody, just everybody.
well, here's my suggestion. Why don't you do this, Rob? I'm trying to help you out here. Why don't you put up a world map?
Yeah.
That is.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And just people can come in
Put a pin.
and
a
put a
stick
pin
pin.
right where they're from.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That
And it
way-
won't mess up your decor.
It won't mess up your decor. See, brother, I got your back.
Be all right.
All right, so I wanted to play something with y'all
Alrighty.
before we end the show. There's a pod questions, and you can mix them up if you want to play. Yep, and then just pick something, each of you, in random, and answer it. You can answer it together. You can answer it for yourself.
When you think about success, who comes to mind and why? I was just thinking about my cousin Teresa. Like, I grew up after my parents split up with my titi and my grandma, and she was like, during that time, like, she was the only one that was like going to college, and she made me want to be her, you know? So she inspires me. And so, I don't know. I don't want to cry.
That's okay. It's okay to cry. It's all good.
See, he thought he took out the cards there.
I thought I took out the cards.
Goodness.
I know, but she just was like, my titi didn't even know English really, but she would help her with her college work, you know, and it just was so, like, while my brothers and sisters were out doing crazy stuff in the Bronx, and, you know, my titi, a single mom, raising 5 kids. There was 5 of us and 5 of my cousins, and we all lived together in the same building. And my titi just helping my cousin Teresa with her homework, and she don't even know English, you know what I mean? But she did it, and then Teresa just, and my cousin Gigi, both of them went to college. But it was just like, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
You know, that was like, I never thought I'd get out the Bronx. I never thought that would be something I would ever, I never thought I'd have this place. Like, I'm just a little girl from the Bronx, you know, and I never thought all of this would be possible. But when I think about, you know, somebody that inspires me, my cousin Teresa inspires me. And so then I met my husband, who made that possible for me. He really, you know, he inspires me all the time. He encourages me all the time. You know, sometimes he gets on my nerves because he's like, you can do it, but it's like,
That's news to you, huh?
The first time I'm
I'm like, but he makes me, you know, want to be better.
Yeah.
And reminds me that, you know, that's the way I want it to go, not the other way. So, but yeah, my cousin Teresa she inspires me.
All right, Rob, if you could flip yours.
What book belongs on everyone's bookshelf?
Oh my God, that is so perfect for him. He's such a reader.
Oh goodness, what book belongs on everyone's bookshelf? Well, I think it's terrible because I like a lot of history books. I like a lot of personal development type of things. So, you know, my Dan Brown books probably don't belong on everybody's bookshelf, even though it's a major, you know, interest of mine. I think there's Adam Grant. I want to say he has a book. I want to say it says Think Again. I'm getting the title wrong, but it's an Adam Grant book. Basically just saying, you know, sometimes I think like Adam Grant and Malcolm Gladwell are constantly, you know, great friends, I guess, but they're, you know, they banter a lot and do different things. So I like Malcolm Gladwell's books as well, but I think for Adam Grant, am I saying his name right? You know, I think his book Think Again, it's more along the lines of just making sure that you're your perspectives don't just get stuck, sometimes. And, talk about Bad Bunny and things like this. Like sometimes you have to, open your mind to having a different perspective. And, did I, not necessarily second guessing yourself, but, maybe opportunities are different. Maybe, pathways are different. And, it's not necessarily an issue to arrange your thoughts where you're being conscious of, not necessarily that my decisions were wrong, but, is there an opportunity to make my decisions better?
Yeah.
So,
Well, would you like to tell people where they can find you as far as physical location? Where's your address? And
We're at 1121 Hall Street, Hull.
because she says it funny.
Because I say it funny. I say it New Yorican style. 1121 Hall Street, Hull, in Locust Point. And
Not too far from the ferry, so if you're on the Canton, Fells Point side of the place, you can, walk over, take the ferry from down there, and then get
Yep.
off over here.
And there's a parking lot next to us, so if you come at night and there's no parking, you can, after 6, you can park there for free.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Mi familia, thank you so much for this. This is a dope episode. You all have been gracious, and thank you so much for letting me interfere with your space and place. And I will be here pretty much all the time. And I hope everybody who's listening and seeing and watching, I wish you had seen while we were filming. This, folks love to come to this place, and it's part of our community. So if you're in Baltimore and around, as you heard, people come from all over the place. Come and hang out at Bodega and Vino. And this is Rob and Angela, and thank you all for coming to the Limbo Latino podcast. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
I'm telling you, they are too cute. All right, y'all, we are out. Thank you for hanging out with this episode, and we will check you next time. Peace.